Margie Pizarro Esquire has many years in law and education. In fact, she's the founder of Pizarro Law Firm. Today, I talk one-on-one with Margie for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Margie Pizarro
Yes.
Esquire. Let me make it abundantly clear.
Okay.
Many years ago, of course, I was the contributing reporter at WLC for Port City Live.
Yes.
I know you were there as the host.
Yes.
And producer and all that stuff, and we never met each other.
I know.
And here we are.
Here we are. Eons later, here we are together on a park bench in Washington Park.
In downtown Charleston.
Doing Quintin's Close-Up. I feel like I've made it.
Oh, no. No, you long made it before me.
Oh, my goodness.
Because you're one of the most prominent people in Charleston.
You think so?
I know.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm happy to hear you say that and hope that it's in all the best of ways.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, you've done a lot for this community. So we thank you for your community service.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And speaking of the community, obviously you're the founder of the Pizarro Law Firm, LLC.
Yes.
Which is based in Summerville.
Yes.
And obviously, as you know, a lot of people come to you for family law, criminal defense, personal injury, estate law, and medical malpractice.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Margie Pizarro Esquire these days?
Oh my gosh. I have to ask myself that same question sometimes. I think I would like to be known as a jack of all trades because there are tons of things that I really know how to do.
Sure.
Of course, I know how to practice law. Practicing law is something that you learn every day, and I believe that the more cases you come into contact with, the more people, the more areas of law, it certainly just expands your knowledge base. I was a former school teacher.
Yes.
I taught school for 12 years, so I consider myself to be an educator as well. And I think that my experience in the classroom helps me to relate to people. It helps me relate to, young people when they have issues. It helps me relate to parents when they are supporting young people when they have issues. It helps me relate to, adults because there are many of my former students who have actually become clients of mine, and I certainly enjoy the opportunity to continue to provide service to them. Of course, I am a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a boneless mother, I'm a grandmother, raising a baby, which is what a lot of people find themselves doing, but it's probably one of the joys of my life. So
that is just amazing. So with all those cases, Ms. Margie, what exactly is your knowledge base right now?
Well, I am focusing a lot on family law. Family law is really something that's very important to me because family law just gives me such an opportunity to assist my clients as they move to the next phase in their life.
Sure.
And what is that next phase? That next phase could be being in a long-term marriage and that marriage ending and parties separating, and what the next phase of that person's life will be. How will they be as a single parent, single mom or single dad? How will they be as just a single person with no children, moving into the next area of their lives and just helping people to get there. I certainly have always appreciated helping young people, thus my spending 12 years in the classroom. So I think it's also important to be able, as a lawyer, to assist juveniles and their families when they're going through certain issues. And it's something that I enjoy. I feel that, it is a part of the calling that I have for my life. I think it allows me to return service. I always see so many acts of service that people have given to me and my children. I had found myself in a situation where I needed assistance. I was a single parent. I experienced a lot of things in my life that have given me a knowledge base to help others, even if in helping them, it is just understanding the steps they're walking through, and just having that experience, I think, is really important.
What more steps have you learned from this process of helping these other people in those single situations?
Yeah, well, I think it's important to meet people where they are.
Yes.
I think, sometimes we are quick to make judgments about people based on what we see them doing in that particular moment.
Right.
I think it's important to understand where they are, to understand how they got there, because that's how you help them move forward. Understand what are maybe some of the pitfalls, what are some of the slip-ups that you've experienced, what are some of the things that have happened to you of which you had no control.
Right.
Okay, so now that we understand that's what put you there, let's see if we can come up with a new strategy to put you in a different position. And I mean, I think that's just what the essence of life is. I mean, not just being, a practicing attorney, listen to you and, your acts of service and the service you give to the community. I think it's always about what is it that I can do as a person to allow someone to have a better experience, even if it's momentarily,
Yeah, exactly right. What is the essence of law these days?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we just got a lot of things going on. I think it's so important to be mindful of the changes in law. I think it's so important to understand the directions in which, laws in our community and society is going. And I think what that does is that gives perspective. That gives perspective that I understand what's going on. I can forecast some things that I see coming down the pike, and I can help strategize and come up with a plan to help my clients deal with those things. I think, it's just a variety. Because I practice in a variety of different types of law, criminal defense, family court, of course, personal injury. I certainly try to make sure that I am always on top of the changes in law. Even looking at different cases and the way that the law is interpreted based on different set of facts is so important. So I think that's kind of like a big question that's based on the area of law that you're particularly dealing with. I think as it relates to, family law and juvenile law, I think that is so important right now. I think that we need more mentors in our communities. I think that we need more programs. And even before those words came out of my mouth, I thought, how's that going to sound? Because I read so much about people saying, oh, just another program, throw some more money into this and throw some more money into that. I think in some ways we really got to get back to the community and the village in which these kids are being raised. Remember when the TSA first came out and the TSA was first established, and one of the models was see something, say something. I think we should do the same thing in our communities. See something, say something. If you see a situation where maybe there's a child that's in need, say something or try to address that need. If you see a situation, maybe there's a single mom or single dad struggling, see something, say something, help that situation. So I think that lends itself to any particular profession, that you're in. If you see a situation where there's a need, try to figure out a way to address it.
What is something people saying to you that they have actually seen in the community with juveniles?
Well, I mean, I think it's, do you watch the news? Yeah.
Oh, yes. I keep up with it. Oh, yes.
I mean, every day, almost every day, we're hearing a situation where, there could be gun violence, or where, there's a situation where a child is injured, a child is killed, there's shootings that are going on at the ballparks. My goodness, where does that start? Where does that end? So I think, again, we've got to find a way to get to the bottom of why these things keep happening. And I think a lot of it just really starts at home, and it starts in our communities. It starts, I'm old school. I was raised by a mom and a grandmother. Yes. And I mean, I was raised to be respectful. I was raised to be kind. I was raised to always look for an opportunity to lend a helping hand. And I think that when you get back to those basic levels, when we have love and respect for each other, does that mean that I'm going to be more apt to go and just pull out a gun and just start shooting a gun, with kids playing in a ball field near round? No, because I'm going to have more respect for human life. When we have more structure and discipline in our homes, I try to, when my kids were growing up, I really made sure I knew where they were. Right.
Oh, yes. My mom's the same way today, even at 37.
There you go. I mean, the big thing when I was growing up was when that street light comes on, you better be in this house, So I think we've got to get back to some of those things that our parents and grandparents used, that allowed us, of course, we've all made mistakes. We've all, had struggles. We've all had challenges. But I think getting back to the root level of what tools do you have in your toolbox that will allow you to address certain situations in your life? And maybe that's the thing that we need to teach these children.
And I know, obviously, you worked with Andy Savage for a long time.
Yeah. Where's Pralo Street? Not that far from here. We walk to court.
Yes, he usually does that a lot around here.
Yeah.
What are the basic levels of law that you use today for your law firm?
Well, I will tell you what. I spent a year working for Savage & Savage, and that was one of the best experiences of my life. Not just because I learned criminal defense from like one of the premier criminal defense attorneys in the world.
Yes.
Not just that, but that I just learned the importance of respecting people wherever they are. If someone walks into my door and they've got a problem, it's something that they came to me. They're trusting me to help them address that problem. But the first thing is we develop a mutual respect for each other. We respect the fact that, you may have had a situation where you need my services. That doesn't mean that you're not a human being. That doesn't mean that your feelings should be discounted.
Right.
That doesn't mean that, you have certain flaws in your character that would not cause you or cause me to give you the same level of respect that I would give another person.
Right.
So, at a basic level, we have to learn that, we're all human.
Yes.
And the humanity has to be in place in whatever area of the law, whatever situation you're dealing with. We have to respect each other. We have to love each other. Of course, I'm a Christian with the love of the Lord. And then we have to say, okay, tell me how I can help move you from this bump in the road, this challenge, to the greatness that you were destined to have, the greatness that you were designed to have in your life, But I learned, a lot of that from being in Andy's office and looking at the way that he would methodically go through the facts of a case for someone.
Right.
The way his work ethic was just stellar. He believes in the law. He believes in the Constitution. He believes in making sure that when it comes to criminal defense, that each person is given the due process that the Constitution affords us. So I learned so much from him, Cheryl, and Heather.
Oh, yes.
That was a really great experience for me.
Yeah, I'm always nagging him whenever I need to get an interview with Andy.
Yeah. He's awesome. He is awesome. Sometimes just to sit back and hear him talk, about a case and the way he would approach a case and his strategy of finding out all the facts, good, bad, and ugly. His strategy of actually, I learned mitigation from him. Mitigation is, okay, there's certain things that may have caused this person to allegedly have these actions. What is it that we can do to go back and cure some of these ills that they experience, so moving forward they won't have those same things that trip them up. So yeah.
And what particular classroom strategy do you bring to that particular situation when someone needs that help?
I'm telling you, it's mitigation. Because like I said, you've got to go back to, if someone is standing in front of me right now, you're standing in front of me, clothed in, the immediate facts of your case, whatever kind of case that is. So what I have to do is I have to go back and say, okay, how did you get here? What were some of the things that happened to you in your life that caused you to have the type of reaction that you did, such that you need my help in a criminal context, if we're talking about that specifically? And then what you do is you say, listen, this person grew up in a situation where they didn't have two stable parents in their house. This person basically raised themselves. This person, lived in a home that was based on survival and not based on love.
Yeah.
So they learned at an early age, in order for me to even get food, I've got to go take it.
Yeah.
They've learned at an early age, in order for me to get whatever I need to go and pay my bills, I've got to go find a way to do that. So what we do is we go back and say, okay, instead of you having only in your toolbox those things that helped you to survive, let's put some things in your toolbox that can help you to move forward with be more productive. Is it counseling or therapy that you need because you had a situation where there was some substance abuse or alcohol abuse? Is it therapy that you need because you have some unresolved trauma? PTSD is real, and it's things that we need to understand. There's kind of a methodology to actions that people have that would cause them to have situations where they come into contact with law enforcement. So it's about going back and trying to cure some of society's ills, but then putting things in place that would help people move forward in a more positive and productive way.
What trends are you seeing now when you're dealing with these cases?
Well, I think the trends that I am seeing now are that people need to be more accepting of responsibility. And I say that, I mean, choosing my words as carefully as I can. I mean, you know, there are some times when the facts bear out that someone has done something wrong. And the allegations are not just allegations, they're true. And I think that what you do when you have those situations is you try to, again, find a path forward. I think that it in some ways, what I'm seeing is we have to be more of, let me do some self-examination and some self-reflection. Let me see what my role was in this particular thing. Let me try to get some mitigation that would help me lessen my punishment or lessen whatever the consequence is, and then that mitigation can also help me to move forward and do something better so that this doesn't happen again. I think that we've got to be in a position where there's got to be some acceptance of responsibility and some acknowledgement of the fact that I need more tools in my toolbox, or I could have handled this situation a little differently. And again, I think that could be in any profession.
Yeah. Speaking of profession, Ms. Margie, what more tools do you want to put in your box to make your law firm more profitable and more successful?
Well, I think again, the law is always about learning and practicing. You know, practicing law is really truly about someone walking into your office with a set of facts, you going and researching the law and trying to put those facts in the best possible light as it relates to your client so they can get the best outcome. So I think always learning more about the law is important. You know, going to more continuing legal education classes is always more important, in addition to the fact that it's required.
Yes.
But it's always more important to learn from others. Yes. I think it's important to attend a lot of seminars. I think it's important we learn from colleagues. You know, if I have a question, a legal question, and it's something I can't figure out, I'm gonna pick up the phone. I'm gonna call Andy. You know, I'm gonna call some of my family court colleagues that I respect and I know they do a good job. So I think it's important to always be available to learn, always be available to hone your craft. I think that just in general is kind of what I'm doing right now, in terms of going to a lot of different seminars. I'm involved in a new family law inn of court, which to me is an honor. It's made up of family law of attorneys and judges, and it's an opportunity for me to make some type of contribution, but it certainly is an opportunity also for me to learn from these people that have been on the bench, you know, so many years. So I think it's important to be open to the advice and the wise counsel of others. You know, don't think you know everything.
Right.
That's the biggest thing I think that sometimes people in general make, that, you know, or don't be too embarrassed or ashamed to pick up the phone and call somebody and say, listen, hey, don't be so prideful that you miss out on an opportunity to really get some good advice to get things right.
Would you be open to becoming a judge one day?
Well, yeah. Say yes, I will leave it at that. Yes, I would. Yes, maybe that's a part of what the Lord has for me.
Okay.
You know, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, to be continued.
Yeah. Yeah, to be continued, yeah.
Margie Pizarro, Esquire, thank you for your time. And again, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
I'm so happy. I finally made it to Quintin's Close-Ups. I think you're wonderful. I think you do a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.